Will Schaller is emerging as one of the top cover options in all of college lacrosse. He plays an eerily similar patient style to one of the best Maryland defenders ever, Ajax Zappitello. With Schaller leading the Maryland defense, they have been dominating with an average of only 8 goals against them a game. In his matchup against Kavanagh, he proved that he can run with the best players in the country and receive Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. In this video, I'll uncover all the secrets to Will Schaller's game so you can play just like him. I promise you'll get more takeaways this season if you stay around till the end of this video. Let's get into it. Here, Schaller shows how being patient will make it impossible to get scored on. Schaller lines up dead square with Kavanagh on X. Since they're in the center of the field, Schaller doesn't need to force him in a certain direction. As they drive up to the cage, a razor pick is set on his left. The D-mid does a great job of applying contact and snapping back to his man, letting Schaller recover. As Kavanagh runs back to X, notice how Schaller stays in a slight trail position, waiting on the rollback. As they drive back up on the other side, Schaller again stays patient, keeping his stick on Kavanagh's hip. When the D-mid hedges, Schaller retreats and then re-engages. The best part about this clip though is how Schaller waits to apply contact right as Kavanagh shoots. That's what great defenders do. They stay patient and deliver contact at the most important moments. This time Schaller shows how he can win a matchup in one step. Schaller lines up with Kavanagh in the high alley. As Kavanagh splits down the alley, notice Schaller's drop step. By keeping a shallow drop step, Schaller can meet Kavanagh earlier in the dodge and force him out to the sideline. This is so effective because it makes this pick useless as Schaller moves over it. Kavanagh now has no options in this dodge because of Schaller's initial drop step. We teach you footwork exactly like this in the early defensive blueprint. It's a weekly training plan that contains the exact steps to become a top defender in the country. This time Schaller shows how playing angles will let you lock down the best attackman in the country. Schaller's getting dodged on in the high alley against Kavanagh. When Kavanagh splits down the alley, Schaller takes a deeper drop step than the previous clip. As he approaches this pick, he applies contact to get over it. This puts him in a trail position that would get most defenders scored on. Schaller can win the matchup because of his patience and choice of angles. A lot of players trailing like this would try and apply contact to Kavanagh's left side. The issue with this is that it leaves the entire lane open. Instead, Schaller applies no contact and simply waits for Kavanagh to move upfield. That patience puts him in the perfect position to deny topside on the rollback. This time Schaller shows why hustle wins championships. McNaney gets blown up on this clear, giving Notre Dame the ball. Schaller does a great job of sprinting back into the hole, getting ready for the fast break. With no goalie in the net, Schaller's only option is to try and make a save. With an insane dive, he can deflect the ball and prevent the goal. But my favorite part about this clip is how he still chases the end line ball even after being on the ground. That kind of hustle just can't be taught, and it's what wins championships and games. This time Schaller shows how he can win more matchups above the cage. Schaller gets caught up behind this pick against Kavanagh. In a position like this, the most important thing is to stay patient and wait to see where your matchup goes. As Kavanagh comes above goal line extended, Schaller stays patient and comes into the V-hole. Notice how his hips are square and he isn't overcommitting to the top side. That positioning lets him deny the rollback on Kavanagh and force a bad shot. If you want to play defense like this, check out the early defensive blueprint in the description. This time Schaller shows how risky checks can sometimes pay off. Schaller is again matched up with Kavanagh and sends him down the alley. Notice how Schaller applies contact to force Kavanagh farther from the cage. As they come through X and up the other side of the cage, Schaller is put into a trail position. As a defender, your main goal here should be to deny the top side in this V-hole. But instead of doing that, Schaller comes over the top for the check. This works because his teammate was hedging down, ready to pinch on the double team. That discouraged Kavanagh from taking the top side and scoring. But in any other situation, I would not give up the top side like this clip. This time Schaller shows how to dominate our matchup. Schaller's in the backside as Kavanagh comes streaking across the field. With the ball in the air in this much space, it seems like this is a guaranteed goal. But with this check combo, Schaller can save the matchup. As Schaller closes the gap, his main goal is to get on Kavanagh's hands. This huge slap check causes Kavanagh to fade from the cage and expose his stick as he shoots. That gives Schaller the window to throw the trail check and get the takeaway. Will Schaller and Maryland will dominate the rest of 2025. This defense isn't slowing down and it is a top contender for the national championship. If you want to play like Will Schaller, check out the G League defensive blueprint in the description or on screen. It's a weekly training plan that will give you the exact steps to become a top defender in the country. Thanks for watching.